This test is so important for me to take because I'm a handsome man. Like, my genetics is so freaking strong, ladies. You want your kids to look like me, and I just want to know where that comes from.
So I'm Key, and today we're going to be finding out which African tribe we're from.
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. At least that's where the colonizers brought me. The little that I know about my family background, it mostly comes from my mom's side. On my dad's side, I don't know much about where it comes from. My dad's last name, it is Irish, I believe. So like, I don't know. I don't know if that has anything really to do anything other than like they were owned by people from Ireland or something like that. But my grandfather on my mom's side, he always told me that we were Nigerian and part Irish too, but he also was like a pathological liar.
Hi, my name is Quasi James and I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So I'm lucky enough to know like where my ancestors kind of come from. My grandfather and my grandmother, they're both from Trinidad and Tobago. So most of my family have like Caribbean roots, and my mom was the first one to come over to the United States. So I'm first generation American.
So I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, but I spent most of my time growing up in Arkansas. Maternally, I know a few things. One, I know that Williams is obviously a slave name. It's like one of the biggest slave owners' names. But I also know my grandmother's maiden name is Boynton, which I know was huge in South Carolina.
I don't know where I'm from. It probably has to be Western Africa because like I'm like a nerd for history.
Oh, I honestly don't know. I feel like it is shrouded in mystery. One time I did this ancestry project in school and like all the other kids like, oh, my family is from England or my family has direct ties to Russia or like whatever. And it was just weird for me because I asked so many people in my family and a lot of them didn't even know. And it's kind of sad because like a lot of Black people don't have that ability to be like, yeah, this is where I'm from, or I know exactly where we go. And I feel like a lot of that was stolen from us.
I text two of my uncles who I think are like, they know most about everything that's happened in our family and our family history, so I text them both. And here was my eloquent solicitation for more information on family history. Hey y'all, I'm shooting a video tomorrow for work where I get my DNA tested to find out which African tribe I'm from via the new African ancestry test. Do either of you guys know anything about where our family is from originally, the United States or outside of the United States, or any idea where our folks were from before Arkansas? Any information helps, thank you. So I sent that long text to my uncle and his response, Wakanda.
So like, well, before I even get into this, I don't like, white people have to do this? The white people really trace back their family like because of brutal slave trade?
All right, so off rip, it says, better, bolder, blacker, choose African ancestry. Yes, here for all of this.
I just wanna rolly, rolly, rolly.
I say, who bring their girls to the party? Yeah, who got hair just like John?
Sounds like a Wednesday night in WeHo.
In the water. Negro spiritual.
What? Oh yeah.
I wonder if our ancestors knew that we were going to be the way that we are, but they still have done the things that they did.
So I filled out everything. I got the packet together. I'm not gonna lick this stamp. I'm gonna use a sponge and close this. And I'm ready to find out where my ancestors were stolen from.
Hi, I'm Gina Page. I'm the president and co-founder of AfricanAncestry.com. So I'm in the business of being Black. I love sitting down with Black people and telling them where they're from and sharing this transformative information. So I'm looking forward to the crew from BuzzFeed to tell them where their roots are.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Oh, the test that you took looks at one branch of your family tree.
Okay.
Right? So you know you have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and it keeps going back, right?
Yeah.
We're only looking at one branch.
Okay.
So we looked at your mother's line.
Whoa.
And that goes back 500 to 2,000 years. So when we trace paternal line, we use what's called the Y chromosome.
Right.
That's what you inherited from your father. He got it from his father and his father and his father. Well, during the history of slavery, white men were having brown babies
Right.
more often. So let's say a British slaveholder fathers a son with an enslaved Nigerian woman. The son's gonna be black, right? He's gonna have black sons who have black sons who have black sons, whether they look like me or you. The Y chromosome goes back to the British man.
So that would like divert where the
So
lineage goes.
so it's going to be European, not African. And that's no surprise. We know that history, right? So white women weren't having brown babies as often as white men. So that's why we see African ancestry more often on the maternal line.
Whoa.
So your results are actually a little unusual.
Oh God.
And that's because we found matches for you in several different countries.
Whoa.
They're all African.
Okay,
so you're African.
Yes.
You're part of the family.
Yeah.
But we found your results in 4 countries, most of which were part of the Mali Empire. One country that we found your ancestry in has a group of people called the Jola people, and they are in Guinea-Bissau today.
Guinea-Bissau.
So that's one of the smallest countries on the west coast of Africa. We found your same DNA signature among people who are Mandinka. The Mandinka are the griot of the culture, and the griots are the keepers of the culture. So through music and song, they tell the history of families in the different Senegalese communities. So they are from Senegal.
That's cool.
So the Mandinka are also known as warriors.
Okay.
Which leads me to the next group that you share ancestry with, which is the Mende.
The Mende.
The Mende people in Sierra Leone today.
Okay.
And the Mende are known as those who were on the Armastas. Basically, the enslaved Africans on the ship refused to be captured, and they turned the ship around.
I've always thought back to because I'm very good at directions. I can go somewhere once and I'm like, oh, I can get back. I just have that innate sense. And thinking about being a warrior, I've always considered myself if we lived in a society where we didn't have electronics and things to tell us where we're going, I would just be a gatherer or a warrior because I know where I'm going.
So then this is crazy because I haven't met you before 5 minutes ago, right? We didn't plan this.
No.
But the last group that you share ancestry with were the coastal people in southeastern Liberia, and they were sailors.
That is weird.
And so, not only were they sailors, but they were very resistant to enslavement. And the British often wouldn't enslave them, but instead would have them navigate the ships. I'm just saying.
That's really cool.
I'm not making this up.
I'm very excited to just to be able to pinpoint where my people are from and also have a lot of historical context of who I am as a person. I knew obviously your DNA holds a lot of secrets to who you are, but I didn't realize how specific it would be. And I also to know that these tribes and these groups of people make up my part of my personality or part of the talents and abilities that I have. There's a level of understanding I have now that makes me so much more excited than I ever thought I would have been. So thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so appreciative.
Welcome to the African Ancestry.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, Crazy.
What's going on? How's
Nice
it going?
to meet you.
Hi. My whole family's waiting on these results.
Really? So I was really excited when I saw that your people were from Trinidad because that helps to give us some variety and to spread the word that, yeah, it's great to be Trini, but guess what?
Yeah.
It's great to be from wherever before Trinidad too.
For sure.
We found your ancestry in Africa,
Right.
which is great.
Okay.
The first country, the group that you share ancestry with, has these secret societies called Poro societies.
Wow.
And they're where men raise boys up. They initiate them into manhood.
Whoa.
And so there's this whole set of cultural practices, almost like a rites of passage that Temne boys go through in Sierra Leone as they become men. So I really want you to look into that.
I'm like on some warrior type joint. Yeah, this is crazy.
And there's another theme that you'll see connects you in this whole BuzzFeed crew. This theme of resistance.
Yeah.
Because the Temne people were also resistant to enslavement.
Right. That rebel spirit I feel in me. I mean, it's even hard for me to work a 9 to 5. You know, to be held down like that.
Well, there's another group that you share ancestry with.
From my father's side?
No, on your mother's side.
On my mother's side,
still
maternal.
Mm-hmm. So we found 2 groups that you share ancestry with. So not just the Temne in Sierra Leone, but there's another group called the Balanta people.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what Balanta means?
I don't know.
It means those who resist.
Wow.
So when the Portuguese came and colonized this very tiny country called Guinea-Bissau, they were met with a lot of resistance by the Balanta people.
Right.
Because they weren't having it either.
Wow. If anyone knows me, everyone knows I'm super rebellious.
Wow.
Like naturally. I almost can't help it.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's the beauty of learning the specific groups and countries that you have connection to genetically.
Wow. Wow, you're changing the world, man. Oh my
One
goodness.
Kwesi at a time.
Oh, man.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Key.
Nice to meet you, Key.
Nice to meet you. I'm super excited about this.
Good.
I don't know anything about my family.
We exist to help you better understand who you are.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we're here.
Yeah.
Is because you deserve to know where your family was before Mississippi and before Arkansas. There was this disconnection, and Key, you know, that makes us the original victims of identity theft.
That's real.
We're the very first ones.
Yeah.
We lost our names, we lost our languages, we lost the freedom to honor our ancestors, and our families were torn apart. So if you don't know your name, you can't speak your language, you can't talk to your God, and you don't know where your brothers and sisters are or who they are, then how can you know who you are?
Yeah, yeah.
So, we found your ancestry among people in 2 countries.
Okay. 2 countries. Gotcha.
And the first group that you share ancestry with, those people are known as nomads. You'll find that they've traveled all across Africa, all across West Africa. You'll find them in probably 6 or 7 different West African countries.
Wow.
Like I said, they were nomads, so they moved with their cattle from place to place. They were often traders because they had to negotiate in each new place. And the women are considered the most beautiful women in Africa.
Oh,
Which makes you my cousin because I share maternal ancestry with the same group in a different country, but the same group. So you share maternal genetic ancestry with the Fula or Fulani people.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. And so there are Fulani people who live in Nigeria. That's my ancestry. There are Fulani people who live in Cameroon, who live in Mali, who live in Senegal, and in your country of Guinea-Bissau.
Oh,
girl, isn't this crazy?
Yes.
Guinea-Bissau.
It's just like Kwesi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ryan.
Oh yeah. Like we're all related.
But you all have different people.
Yeah.
So that's
and like the
cool
nomad thing makes so much sense. Like every couple months, like this unrest like happens in me. I'm like, something has to change. And I feel like that's just a part of the nomad inside of me.
And then there's this theme going on here today, and I swear to you, you will acknowledge I've never met you guys before.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about any of you. But this team here, there is something about you all, and the Mende and the Temne from Sierra Leone.
That's crazy.
Now, let me tell you something I didn't tell the others.
Oh.
So, Sierra Leone is known for rice production. So, Sierra Leoneans are outstanding rice farmers. The planters in South Carolina and Georgia at the rice plantations, they specifically got enslaved labor from Sierra Leone because of their ability to farm rice.
Whoa.
So that's why when we are talking about where you all are from, I was listening to see if anybody was from South Carolina or Georgia, because we get a lot of people. So that whole Gullah Geechee culture is directly connected to the people of Sierra Leone.
Whoa.
Yeah. And we've already been through the resistance. The Mende were not having enslavement. The Temne were not having enslavement. They turned the ships around on the
That's what I
Armastas.
like to hear. Being quiet and not saying anything is just like not me.
That's not what's gonna happen over here.
Wow.
So yes, so I want to welcome you to the African Ancestry family.
I love this.
Good.
Same as Kwesi. I don't have my diploma either. It's packed up in a box somewhere, but this is gonna be hanging up somewhere in my apartment.
You've got some great women, strong women who are leaders.
I'm so interested in that.
Dr. Dorothy Height was Temne. Dr. Maya Angelou.
Whoa.
Coretta Scott King.
Wow.
India Arie. So you've got some women that share a very powerful ancestry.
Yeah, and that's so cool, like hearing about Coretta Scott King, because I know they like spent a lot of time in Memphis, and that's what Martin Luther King was assassinated, and I was born in Memphis too, so that like little like tiny connection is like super cool to have. And also just hearing about like the Fula women, like I want to like read up about them and like, I don't know, just like learn more and like.
See, isn't she pretty?
Oh,
she's so pretty. Yes, my cousin.
Thank you so much
You're
for this.
welcome.
This is like my very first DNA test ever, and I just didn't want to take one that was gonna be like, oh, you're European, because I'm like, I already know this happened.
This is something you need. You know, this isn't a novelty. This isn't just nice to know. This is a need to know, and now you're gonna share. You just said you have to share it.
Yeah.